another episode of Non-Fungible Guys, NFGs. I am one of your hosts, NFG Ryan. As always, I got my buddy, my bro host, Devon.
Devon Codrington.
Not going to sea.
I forgot.
That's Devon C. Codrington, everyone. I'm not going to give out his handles. You can go back and listen to him drone on about all his handles on the other episodes.
That I'm never going to check.
Exactly. But for any new listener that we have, we are a Web3 podcast. And what the hell does that mean? Well, that means we delve into blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, movies, food,
everything in between.
Everything, books.
The IoT, the Internet of Things, plus connected to decentralized technologies and cryptocurrency and math and physics.
We don't do public math, but we'll talk about
computer science, everything.
AI.
AI. Because,
else?
I mean, even though we're saying that, we're kind of joking around. That's really what...
That's 100% what the Web3 space would entail. And we've been onboarding some new listeners. So we kind of want to, I don't know, a little bit back to basics for this episode.
I think that's a good idea. Not a bad idea at all.
For some of them.
Yeah.
We'll talk about, what we've been up to, stuff like that. But we'll kind of, go back and try and explain a little bit of stuff to people. What have you been up to this week, Devon? Usually where we start.
Yeah. Well, you kind of said it. Going back to the basics, I wanted to do a bunch of DeFi stuff because of our 100th episode when we had Sean on. It kind of reignited some of the. And I was glad that Sean mentioned one of the things I want to look into, which was Melt, because it was like, I wanted to get back in the game, not from NFTs because.
Well, I know because we hover in the Cardano space, and DeFi is so hot right now, as the cool kids say, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So hot.
Yeah,
Paris Hilton style.
That's so old that you would say that.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, really. Wow.
What's the slang now? Like bet?
I bet. Yeah, I say that. That. My cousins say that a lot too. It sounds way cooler because they're from Jersey.
We have one friend that probably will never listen to this episode. His brother listens though, but his catchphrase right now is "my guy."
Oh,
every other.
Honestly, I like that though, and he says it a lot. He's like, "Yo, my guy."
Yeah.
I kind of like it. It's,
bet my guy. Bet my guy.
I don't know about that, but whatever. All right, cool. So,
and we derail. Yeah,
we're off the rails. We're 4 minutes into the episode, off the rails. Okay, seriously. What I've been up to, I think it was exciting when we saw that Ben Mesrick's movie is going to be premiering at TIFF. That's dope. TIFF's happening September 7th to 17th in Toronto, where we are. And that's cool. Ben Mesrick, episode 54.
I was going to say 54.
Oh, really? Whoa, yeah. Okay. Did I win? No, not win. But
it might have been a little later, maybe 772.
Damn, let's see. Let's see if I can pull this up.
He's going to check. I don't like how you fact check things now.
I know, right? Basically, we want to see what episode Ben Mesrick, author of the
Social Network or whatever.
Author of the book that became the screenplay, that became the movie, The Social Network, as well as the book that became 21 with Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, fully acquitted, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, fully acquitted recently.
Oh, he's one of your favorite actors, isn't he? You must be happy.
I don't remember. I think I like him, actually. He's not one of my favorites, but I've definitely been like, Kevin Spacey's awesome. But yeah, and 54 was Eight of Ninjas. So
the first time before the rebrand of that Kent. See, I almost did
Ketsu. You had it.
Ketsu, yeah, I did. But anyways, so what's Ben? Okay, so. Yeah, he's premiering the movie Dumb Money. It's all about the GameStop and what was the other AMC, all that. What the hell are they called? What was that group called? The
Wall Street Bets.
Wall Street Bets Reddit thread.
Yeah.
Community taking over I jumped in on that with AMC. I made a couple bucks, but I'm not degen enough they were buying bulk orders and holding for a long time. That's
pretty cool though, eh? Like big film. Like Pete Davidson,
Seth Rogen,
Nick Offerman, that's cool. Anthony Ramos, Sebastian Stan.
You say Offerman?
Offerman. What do you say? Offerman?
Offerman.
I think it is Offerman.
I think
Offerman.
yeah,
It's Offerman.
it's
Yeah.
like Collision and
Yeah.
Carlson.
Yeah. I don't. Sebastian Stan, Winter Soldier, is going to be in that, and Paul Dano starring. Anyways, either way, that's sick. And we had that guy on our podcast, episode 63.
I'm hoping when he is going to be here, and maybe we can head
We're
down and
we're
interview
trying
him or
to we're
hang
trying
out.
to hang
Ben,
out
hit
with
us
you.
up, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll show you the town.
Yeah.
He
Like
told
meet
his
us.
story on Twitter about his first time at TIFF. He set his arm on fire by leaning into a candle.
Right. Yeah.
And then someone said, "Oh, that's the writer."
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're totally right. That was
But
cool. I'm glad you remembered that.
yeah, it's that brain I got.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyways, that was cool. And I just did a bunch of DeFi research, then got back to the basics and started, I guess, talking about the person you were talking about. But what did you do this week?
you know what? I used to always write down in our show notes, Mint did this or did that. I
Yeah.
keep forgetting. Oh, I did Mint. Let me show you. You probably haven't seen it because you don't go on social media often.
Nice.
And it's no shame in your game.
Appreciate that.
But I minted. Have you heard of Thesis and Dysmorphia
I have,
project?
but you only heard of it through you.
Yeah. So
did we talk about it with Michelle? Very
no,
briefly?
no, not with Michelle.
Okay.
Did we? They are AI generated art. Did we talk about them?
I believe we did, but
Because they're doing the study.
Yeah, we did talk about recently. We talked about it. So it's either episode 100 or episode 101.
It might have been 100 with somebody.
Perhaps.
There's my pool. So I minted. I won a special whitelist in. They had some kind of bingo game in their Discord, and then I bought one off the secondary, and then I had 2 regular whitelists. So I got 4 of those. I did. I'll tweet out the pictures again, but if you go on my Twitter, it's pretty recent that I tweeted out the artwork. It's pretty dope artwork. Like it's evolved actually. Like the green one that's on fire.
That's the one I'm looking at right now.
Or sorry, no, I'm lying. I bought the orange one at first.
That's the one I'm looking at right now.
When I went on JPEG, it was some random. It was totally different artwork, and then when I clicked it, I saw this, and I was like, "Oh, I love this." Wasn't necessarily a fan of what it evolved from, but I was like, "Oh, this I can get behind." You know, orange is my son's favorite color. I'm like, I could see him enjoying like looking at it.
Eyes are cool,
right? So I minted that, or I bought that off secondary, minted the other ones. I'll tease, they are going to come on soon. I want to have a chat with them. So I purposely haven't, like usual, done any like deep dives into their project, but basically they have the AI generated NFTs, and then they're doing a year-long study in the Cardano space with a lot of projects and people taking surveys and stuff. And then they're going to mint the results of that survey in October, I believe. So we're going to try and have them on in the next month or 2 prior to the release of the study. What else did I get up to? It's funny. I got to kind of Book.io has been dropping a bunch of stuff. Speaking of DeFi, we got into the ITO of Book.
Oh,
you and
what?
I.
What's going on here? Yes, yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
They had their ITO initial.
I forgot about that.
Offer. Yeah, I forgot about.
That's cool. Like, that's actually the biggest thing. We talked about it off. We talked that maybe it was coming, but we didn't talk about it online anywhere. Holy crap!
Yeah, okay, so their cool. Initial token offering for anyone that's a Gutenberg Bible holder, which is the Bible is like their Genesis token. So all the OGs of the project would have any OG is someone that has the Bible. They got first crack at the token. I think we got it for under 1 cent, 0.084 or something.
And it's already grown.
And now it's on public sale, and every 20 minutes it goes up in price. They have it. They kept it the same price for the 24 hours for OGs. Then the whitelist, they kept it the same for like 12 hours. And then they upped it. And then public, it goes up every 20 minutes. So we all jumped on that.
Pretty good.
And actually, let me just open Discord real quick. Book.io just announced that they're going to be doing a a living author series for their books. And it comes down to you have to hold 31 titles. There's 31 books you have to hold for the whole series.
What do you
So,
mean?
like
Don't you have
they
that though? How many books? What do you have?
I don't have that many books. I have the whole anything they've released on Polygon.
Yeah,
I
you have
now
it.
own. Yeah. So I've because I pivoted to Polygon because I could mint on website with credit card. I didn't have to
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
convert
exactly. You don't have
fiat
to
and
do
all that. It
anything.
was
Yeah.
so easy. I don't think you can buy with credit card on Cardano. You need card ADA, but I do have a couple series I'm working on ADA. But this series is their biggest collection so far. And like I said, it's 31 books that you
Damn,
have to
that's a
own
lot.
to get. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot. That's tons.
They're trying
And
to
the
see
one,
who's really about it.
yeah, or I mean, it's the living author series. So yeah, it's 31. I have maybe five, six of those 31, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm still. I mean, we got the token. I did get a couple stuff where they're dropping audio like air dropping stuff. So I'm good with them. I'm good with what I got right now. Um, Other than that, I think I think that's basically it. Just been wheeling and dealing and trading books so I can complete my Polygon series.
Wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, I had to
I like it.
I traded because I got a couple at the beginning of the Polygon series. I was minting a couple of every
Yeah, yeah, and
title,
like gifting them
and
and whatever.
yeah, now it's coming back, and so I can trade with people that didn't start on Poly to get what
Gotcha.
I need now.
Yeah,
Because now,
yeah, yeah.
honestly, the mints are like 150. Like the last couple Polygon mints have only been 152 books, and it mints out in like seconds, and I
Yeah.
can't get it.
Hmm.
Whereas before, it's like kind of old school where you could mint like Vivi. Remember Vivi? You could
Yeah.
mint like 10 in a row and you'd be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. That changed.
Actually,
They sent an email recently. What was
I was
that
just gonna
about?
say they're I think they're doing early beta testing with
Hmm.
um like OG Vivi users on the Viviverse. It's finally here.
Finally, two
We've been
years
doing
in the
listen,
making,
I was gonna say we've been doing this podcast for like 2 years talking about Vivi, and
and the time for you is right now.
I know I still hold quite a bit of NFTs or whatever you want to digital assets
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
there. But the last couple weeks I've been buying up a couple. That's something else I've been doing. I've been buying a couple comics over there. I've been
I
buying
can't
up the
believe they're
kid.
still doing that. I think
I
I gotta
know.
actually log in and check out. I just blew all that money. It's gone.
Listen, you haven't even KYC'd. That's how long. It's been over a year since they introduced KYC. And for any new listener, KYC is not the jelly. It is no know your customer.
Yeah.
So that's how you would verify with yourself. That's again why a lot of decentralized apps, I guess you would say, or
Yeah.
companies, finance institutes are leaving Canada because Canadian government is wanting everybody to have KYC so that they can get their taxes paid to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, what else have I been up to? I got a couple things we could talk about that I did today, but we'll finish that up at the end.
Cool.
I wanted to show you what the hell Origin Trail, because we did talk about them last
Yeah,
week with
we did.
Michelle. I want to talk about digital knowledge graphs. I think the D is digital, but yeah, I want to
Yeah.
show you that in like real time while we're
Okay,
on
so I
the
shouldn't
episode.
Google that. Well, you
No,
told me
don't.
not to before. We talked about it before, and you were like, "No, just wait."
No,
And
I
the
want to
thing
get you.
is, the knowledge graph. We've talked about it offline before because we were talking about hash graphs and different kinds,
Yeah.
but I don't know what that is really. I just,
See, I
have
hear the
loose
word graph.
ideas. Yeah.
I hear the word graph and I think of like a pie chart or a
Or like a bar
bar
graph.
graph.
But
But
like,
it's not
no,
like let me,
we're
it
talking
just
about
because
like real math.
graph description or definition, right?
Yeah.
It
Skin
says a
graph.
diagram showing the relationship between variable quantities, typically two variables. Okay. A plot or trace on a graph. Okay. That's
Hmm.
not helping me solidify my
That
point now.
sounds more, yeah, I know. That sounds more like what we expect,
Yeah.
you
A
know?
visual symbol representing a unit of sound or other feature of speech. Graphs include not only letters of the alphabet, also punctuation marks. Interesting. These are all different. See, Google. You go down the rabbit hole and be
Yeah,
like,
I'm like, what about H bar? Remember Hedera hash graph?
right, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So, what is a simple definition of a graph? The diagram is a series of one or more points, lines, line segment curves, or areas that represents the variation of a variable in comparison with that of one or more other variables. Huh. That
sounds.
just confuses me even more. So, either way, I want to show you what this project did using Origin Trails knowledge graphs
Okay, cool.
to
I'm
tie
into it.
into NFTs, Web3 storytelling, all that stuff.
Hmm.
I went on a
Okay,
treasure hunt today.
well,
So,
before we do that, I got a little story for you.
oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep it all anonymous and whatnot, but some Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool, but then some people are like, what can you actually buy with it? What can you actually do with it? Like, how do I get paid? How do I do this? You know what I mean? Like, what do we can actually do? Does it all have to stay in the web? And then sometimes you're like, okay, well, you can actually get paid in crypto, or you can buy a sweater, or they have those Bitcoin ATM machines where you can put your cash in and it'll spit it out to a wallet, give you access to that wallet.
Yep.
The wallet private key or private key
No, you're right. The wallet
via
address or whatever.
wallet address, and the private key via an email or whatever. But like, there's still that whole thing, and sometimes people need to like get things out of cryptocurrency and move it to fiat being like regular currency. So
Yes.
I was doing a transaction for someone with PayPal, and like I was like, cool, I'll just move this Bitcoin or whatever the currency was out of PayPal into, or out of the exchange. I'm not going to list the exchange, and then move
Yes.
it to PayPal, and then from PayPal just throw it in my bank, because easy, no big deal.
Right.
PayPal now is like, well, Devon, you haven't used PayPal in a while. I mean, I use PayPal, but not that often, right? And they're like, also, you've never moved anything more than 2,000 USD in PayPal, and
No.
that was for something else. So I got like over 4,000, 5,000 Canadian that I want to now move into my bank account. And PayPal is just like, oh well, man, this is unusual activity, so we're not going to let you do that.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm like, okay. They're like, you got to wait. I'm like, fine, I don't give a shit. I'll wait. They're like, you got to wait 3 days. I'm like, fine. They released some after 3 days, and they're like, wait, now you got to wait 21 days. So after 21 days, they're like, okay, it's released, and you go, not letting me take the money out bank account. So it's been like 25 days of $4,000, $5,000. It's 4,000 now locked up into PayPal. And the whole issue is PayPal will not let me take the money out of PayPal and put it in my bank account so that I can put it in my wallet, or so that I can spend it.
Right.
Okay.
So can you take it from PayPal and send it to another PayPal?
Probably, but I haven't tried that because they might just flag that as malicious activity. I might have another 21-day lockup. The whole point
So
is I'm completely dependent on PayPal. I have to open a ticket, which I've done, and they just closed the ticket on me. They didn't reply. They didn't do anything because they have all the power, right? PayPal has all the power to do whatever they want. It's their platform. It's their money lending network. They have power, and it's all in their fucking corporate headquarters, wherever that is. And like, that power is
right.
centralized power. I can't do
Yes.
anything except open a ticket and wait. And if PayPal never wants to release that, then I gotta what, call CP24, like, or like
So Canadian, but
this.
yeah.
Yeah, that's Canadian. That's a Canadian news channel that'll kind of investigate. But this PayPal is like a American company. Like, I can't call the ombudsman, which is the government watchdog. Who do I call? Like, I have to really, what, lawyer? Like,
Ex Elon.
like, what am I going to do? Right. I just have to deal with PayPal. So, and they can lock this up for a year, for 6 months, doesn't matter. But that's centralized power. I have no control over that. There's nothing I can do. I don't even know what kind of parameters they put and they blocked on the network. That's all internal. I can't
So
see that
there's
transaction going through. There's nothing I can do.
there's nothing that like says, hey, just re-verify your bank account
Well,
or
let's say I did that,
another.
right? But let's
Hmm.
say they have an internal watch on me where they're like, we're not going to release this guy's money no matter what he does. Like, that's something internally that they can do.
Right. So your money's literally
Like,
just locked up
I'm just
forever.
waiting till they let me do it. And that's centralized power. That's why when people are talking about decentralized and the blockchain and all that stuff, like, when, I'm kind of just jumping into it, but it's like, this is kind of what led me to go down the rabbit hole of, trying to have people understand what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Like, and I think there's kind of dovetails or segues or like parlays right into like what your friend asked you privately. And what did like who was that? Like
Oh, it was the friend of the show,
Little Miss KO,
Lil Miss KO on
right?
Twitter. We were having a discussion, and she's like, I have a dumb question. I was like, there's no dumb questions. I'm like, I love helping you out and helping, everyone. Like this is why we kind of turned it into a little bit of content, even though it's helping explain it to her. But why not explain to some of the masses might have the exact same question, right?
Yeah.
It was just like, what was the first question I sent?
Well,
All
I
thing.
like I think the whole question was basically like she was saying that she's like, I am a techie person. I had a Commodore 64. I've done this, I've done that. I know
Yeah,
front like, and she was like, blockchain is still a little bit murky sometimes, like sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't, and it was like, I was thinking about that and I was like, this whole PayPal thing pissed me right the fuck off. I was so mad,
100%. But
right?
it's a perfect explanation.
It really is.
It's a
And like I
perfect.
was thinking, you were talking about it, then and this was happening to me, and I'm like, let's just roll things back and do a little. We haven't done anything like this in a while, so it's like, why don't we just talk about like Bitcoin and blockchain and what the
What
that
the hell
is?
is
You know what I
blockchain?
mean? So
Which was like one of
it's the first blockchain.
KO. Yeah, like, well, it
Oh,
is.
sorry.
And then
Oh,
what I was gonna say was one of KO's questions is like, explain what blockchain is to me.
okay.
Like,
All
why
right.
I'm
Cool.
in tech, and it's like, why is it the future?
Cool. All right. Let's
Right?
do it.
What like what am I missing? Basically, it was like, what am I missing? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
explain it to me. And then I'm like trying to use examples, and I'm like, man, I feel stupid because I know it, but it's like trying to like, you got to find. I find with certain people, you kind of have to find something that it's like teaching something that they understand. What I'm trying to
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes
fumbling over
sense.
my words a bit, but it's
No,
like,
you're
you know
not.
what I
You're
mean.
actually getting
You find
exactly
that
right.
common ground where they can, like, some
Yeah. Yeah.
people use math, you
Yeah.
can use music or whatever. It was just
Yeah.
like, okay,
Totally.
how can I explain this with a media person, in a
Yeah.
sense? Not that
Well,
she's a
when
media.
you like, sometimes the way you look at it, you're like, if you were talking to an engineer, you'd use certain examples. If you're
Right.
talking to a music teacher, you're gonna use completely different examples.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
like, so the person you're talking to has to be like willing to listen, and then you kind of have to know what they're into. And it's tough. This is a podcast, and we know some of our listeners are super techie and probably loved episode 101. And then some of
Yeah,
them maybe
yeah.
didn't love that episode. You know what I mean? Like I'll never forget. MJ was just like, I like the episodes when you guys talk about food,
Honestly, I found
right?
myself listening to the episode back,
Yeah,
driving in my car, and I actually zoned out a couple times
right. Like
because I
it's
was like, you two were going back and forth, and I just kind of zoned out because I was like, I don't even know what the like
I don't know. I
media
didn't know what I was
stream
saying.
pipeline, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
zoned
yeah,
out. But I think the best way to describe it is like what you always say is like, does it pass the mom test?
yeah,
Like, how
yeah,
would
yeah,
I
yeah.
explain this to my mom or my grandparents, and that's kind of where we want to get back
It's
to it.
tough though. It's tough, but
It is
we'll
hard.
try. We'll try. Okay. So blockchain, oof, how do we go? Okay, so we're going to talk about this in just the terms of Bitcoin, because if we get down the rabbit hole, because we know a lot, Ryan. There's no doubt we know a lot of stuff,
Yes.
and like when we talk about this, I think we take this stuff for granted. So all these examples right now, unless we state it, we'll have to do with just Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency, and the Bitcoin blockchain,
Yes.
which is the
They're, yeah,
first
two
blockchain
total.
ever. Yeah,
Yes.
the first blockchain ever is
Created by nobody knows.
okay, right?
Satoshi
Satoshi.
Nakamoto.
Right. And we don't know if that's a person or a group of people or a company or whoever. It's anonymous.
Exactly.
But this entity, this person, this pseudonym created a blockchain called Bitcoin blockchain.
That uses
Bitcoin.
cryptography and mathematical algorithms to secure it and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
like you're 100% right. So, okay, let's think about the blockchain in three different major things. Number one, decentralization. We're going to talk about that first. And the whole PayPal thing is a kind of an example as to what decentralization could look like, because decentralization is the opposite of what I was kind of describing. People usually trip up because you can talk about decentralization in two ways. You can talk about it in terms of the data being decentralized, and you can talk about it in the power being decentralized. When I say power, I don't mean like electricity. I mean like control and power. Like right now,
Right.
PayPal has the power over my money, and it's centralized. It's in like one company has it. It's
Right.
controlled in one location, not a location, because the internet is everywhere. It's like sometimes this is how it gets
Yeah.
kind of complicated, but like people are like, so wait,
It's centralized with a bank or a company or a government entity.
exactly. But it doesn't necessarily mean the data is in one location because the internet is literally everywhere. There's a server in, rural Ontario, there's a server in Kansas. The internet is data is actually spread out everywhere, but all data is spread out everywhere, but doesn't mean that that data is controlled everywhere. The data is usually controlled by one entity that has power. Like
Right.
Amazon has a ton of power. They control a lot of web servers all around the world,
And
you
that's
know?
AWS, right?
Yeah,
Just
AWS,
okay.
Amazon Web Services. We talked about that last week.
We did.
So for PayPal, yeah, PayPal's data is everywhere in their different servers, but the power is all centralized within PayPal. I'm powerless. That's centralized power.
Yes.
So blockchain, it's decentralized, as in like Satoshi Nakamoto is not like who we have no idea. All they did was create this program and push it out to a bunch of different computers. And like
Yeah.
not like their friends, like they just anyone on the internet could go and download this and put it on their computer. And then you are technically and then you're running or aiding moving this blockchain forward. So
Right.
like
Because
this
it
is
creates like a graph between, or not a graph,
a
a
network.
chain from you to you to you to
I'd say a
you.
network. I'd say use the word network first because the like it's a network. It's like as in like interconnected a web. Think of a web.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say chain as like a chain of, anyways.
But I'm only not
Yeah.
going there because it'll confuse us later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm going to say a network. Think of like a network of computers all around the world, and they all run the same software. And this software runs itself. It like it knows what to do. It talks to anyone else in the network. All these computers that are called nodes, they
Yep.
all are a part of the same network, and they're all running this software. And the software is called like Bitcoin blockchain,
Yeah.
and like, so if you wanted to like shut it down, you would have to go to every computer that has this installed and like just uninstall it. But you can't actually do that. Like, just like how you have something on your computer now, like Microsoft can't go into your computer and uninstall something. You'd have to like allow them. You'd have to click yes to uninstall or uninstall it yourself. Like so the blockchain network is installed on anyone can go and download it. You can go download it right now and run it on your computer. And you can't really stop that. Like the only way you'd be able to stop the network is if every computer that's running the blockchain network software is offline. And how can you do that when there are millions of computers online? You just can't do that. It's not possible. So the power of controlling this blockchain is not central anywhere. There's no one company that's like running all of it. All these computers are running it. And you could like remove half of the computers and it'll still run because any one computer is running the network.
Right.
So that's like decentralized power. It's distributed around this network of computers. Okay, so that's like how like the data is moved around and the power is decentralized. It's not just one entity. So that's kind of like the big power of like the blockchain technology. It's
Yeah.
like if PayPal was decentralized, I'd be able to see my transaction and like be able to like maybe like tap it, just be like retrieve it because there's no one telling me I can't, I would just be like, hey, I want to do this and I can build the interface that connect directly to the network and take my money out. Like you
And
can
then
actually do that.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
then all the information, like you said, information it's all anonymous and permanent
Yeah,
on
exactly.
chain, on chain,
So I think we're
on
getting into
network.
the next thing, which is transparency. So
Yes.
transparency is the big one. Okay. So it's like right now, PayPal is saying we can't complete your transaction. That is all the information they've given me. I have
Mhm.
no idea why. They're not telling me anything. I can't see anything. I have to email them. I have to figure stuff out. But like we're gonna leave the PayPal example away for a minute now. Let's think about government.
Okay.
Like here's the scenario. What if you could see all of government spending in real time? What if there's a website just called government spending? You could go to it and in real time, no matter what, every time money is moving around, you can see it. You may not know, like, Ryan sent money to the Ministry of Transportation. You might not know the names because it has to be anonymous, but you're going to see account number 56 sent, $10,000 to account number 1. And
Yeah.
then if you just like, you could build a program to track everything. You don't even have to. The website will track it for you. You can click account number 56, and over time you'd be like, I can see every transaction this account has made. I don't know who owns it. I don't know whatever, but like over time you'd be able to piece things together if that account was active. And it's like, if you saw like government moving money like that through an accounts, you'd be able to kind of get a sense of where money was going over time, because it's all moving, it's all in real time, it's all public. That's not how things are, but imagine government spending was like that. So like, the thing is, that website could totally exist, and it does for like the blockchain. That's kind of the whole concept of it. Every time money or information or something is moved on the blockchain, you can see it. Like everyone can see it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole word that everyone uses, called the ledger. Like, so any transaction is totally visible. You can't see like that it's named Ryan, because there's no names. It's just a number.
No, that's the anonymous part of
exactly
decentralized. Like, it's just like a string. Your address in most cases is just actually all cases, it's just a string of letters and numbers.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And that's it. And then, but you can see every transaction. And like, people will be like, okay, well, how's this different from the bank? You have to remember point number one: the bank is centralized. You can't go into the bank's database and see all transactions. You can only see your transactions.
Yeah.
And that's because the bank is a central power that controls the flow of information. Also, the bank could also just like go in and delete that and be like, you never paid that to me. And they make mistakes all the time.
They make mistakes all the time.
And they're just like, oh, sorry. And they just send the money, return the money, don't return it. They just digitally make the money, do whatever the hell they want, because that's centralized power. But remember, with the blockchain, all of these computers are running the blockchain. And we're going to get into it later, but like, the data actually can't be erased or stuff like that. So once the transaction is gone, or once the transaction has happened and it's visible, all of the computers in the network get a little update being like, this is now the new record.
It's an approved, like it's not duplicated transaction. It's been verified in that block.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody, all the nodes say, yep, it's a verified block, add it to the chain, add it to the network.
Exactly.
And then everybody, it's all visible. And I was going to say, to your point with the whole centralization, and perfect example for any Canadian, there was a trucker convoy.
Yeah.
And the government just swept in and froze all the people involved. The whole organization just froze all their accounts.
How do they have access to that information?
Great question.
The government, they just was like, okay, what license plate is that? Okay, it's this person, it's this person, this person. Yep. Talk to the bank, frozen account.
And guess what the trucker convoy ended up turning to?
Crypto. Because like they can't actually, well, first of all, they're not going to know who owns the account, because it's just a number moving stuff around, which actually goes back to what we talked about earlier. In Canada, they want KYC, meaning you can't buy crypto unless you've verified your identity with like a driver's license or a passport or something.
Yeah.
That way they're now going to be able to backtrack saying this account number is connected to this person because we did know your customer. Other countries are not doing that, and they're allowing you to buy so you can remain anonymous. You can have the freedom of moving your money around freely without the banks controlling you. Because if Canada knows whose account this is, then they can monitor that cryptocurrency account and just track you
and
then be like, and flag it and be like, whenever this person wants to come back to the fiat world, the cash world, or the debit world, or whatever, we've got them.
Yeah.
So you either have to stay in the web space or you can't come out of that.
I don't think we've ever asked this question, but it might derail us a little bit.
It's all good.
Who runs KYC? Is it like a software that just does it automatically? Like
that's
AI?
A great question.
Or is it like a third party company where it's just like a human error could fuck up?
Second one, in a sense. It's both. So you know how you go to like government CRA services and they're like trusted sign-on partner?
Yeah.
You can sign on using your banking information.
Yes.
That's a form of KYC. Like when you think about it,
right.
It's like they are saying that we trust the bank's infrastructure, so we're going to allow the bank sign-on thing to sign on to us. And it's literally just a service that says, hey, they're probably just like, you have to make sure you can verify your customer. Do it any way you want. And then the person can say, okay, we're going to build this thing that scans your driver's license, or we're going to make you connect via your trusted sign-on partner. But like there are third-party companies that just be like, we'll just, and then they probably just have to capture that data and submit it to the regulator, which is the government.
Right. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, okay.
Bullshit.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like to see more and more companies start accepting crypto, but again, we've said it 1,000, or I've said it 1,000 times. I feel like regulation will bring mass adoption, but which is
It's true.
sad, but
It's sad, but that's
it is what it is.
that's how government controls people, right? Because they make it difficult to do business.
Well, there's a reason why Europe is a lot different than Canada. They go and they'll burn their city down because they don't
Right.
agree with something. Canada,
Mhm.
some people holding the sign at the side of the road.
Yeah,
Like
and
they
then
don't, we don't
you
really.
can't.
There's no protests or riots, like
You know
compared
why?
to Europe.
Because we have it good. As shitty as it is, we do.
Yeah, yeah, I get. Okay,
You know,
I
when
get.
you
Yeah,
you
we
know what I
don't
mean?
need
Like
to get
we're not gonna go that that's
political.
gonna
Yeah,
go
yeah,
too
yeah,
deep.
yeah, yeah,
But it's like the better yeah. You have to keep the people just
Right.
happy enough to not riot.
Yeah. Fair
That's
enough.
pretty much right. Okay, anyways. Okay, so back to the transparency. So that
Yes.
record of transaction is the ledger. And people always talk about, oh, the ledger is where everything's stored, and it's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And it's just basically a list of transactions with account numbers saying this moved, data moved from here to here. Like
It's
whatever.
just like like
It's a
the
giant list.
blockchain. It's a block, like blocks get solved,
Yeah.
and everything is it's
Yeah,
transparent.
everything is moved.
Yeah.
So the thing is, that whole network, like anytime, let's say Ryan's a node operator and he's running the Bitcoin network on his computer, and his computer like validates the thing and it says, nice, new block is added. Great.
You verify, yeah, you have to, because it is cryptography and like mathematical algorithms to solve.
Exactly.
That's why it's like it's what's the word? It's security, high security, because hackers just can't come in and put in a little bit of code and boom, they're in.
No,
It's
not at
like
all.
You need, at this point, Bitcoin needs supercomputers to solve these high level mathematical
the
algorithms.
Bitcoin hash is what they call it.
Yeah. So it's
block hash.
Right. So the odd time, like a node operator like myself might actually solve a block, and then you get rewarded.
Yeah, exactly.
The Bitcoin.
But the thing is, once you solve that block, your computer automatically sends something out to the entire network saying, hey, this block has been solved. And then every other node operator updates their block.
Right.
So that like when you look at the ledger, it's always updated on every computer because the network talks to each other.
Right.
That's why. So that's how like it stays current. So like if you solve something, if someone else solves something, there's always a micro difference in time. And but either way, they always get updated. Okay.
And that's similar to what when we have Sean on, he talks about he doesn't want to have, he wants to have a self-sustaining node that never loses power, because he wants to constantly be keeping the chain going.
Yeah, and also be like the real time, because if you like turn your computer off for a week, okay, the minute you come back on and your node becomes operational again, it'll automatically download all the transactions that have happened in the last week and get you up to date. But you're missing that uptime, you know?
Yeah.
So either way, okay.
One day we should get like an actual
a deep miner, like a super techie person on.
Yeah, like someone like Michelle just killing us with like the technical side of like blockchain. We're doing the mom test,
and it is super dude, this is not.
What's that book you're reading that you got from the Ben Mesrick book club?
The virtual machine.
And that
that
you recommend
really
that highly,
cool.
right? To learn a little bit about.
Cool. It's really cool. It's a story too. It's cool. Well, it's funny because I'll pause. I'll get back to that. Yeah. Okay, so and I guess the last thing I wrote here in my notes, it was like, okay, like what if you could see every record of the Canadian government? We kind of talked about this, but you can't. Like they give you an annual statement, but it's like we spent $1 million towards school buses, and you're like, great. Like where's
the receipt?
Was it just one check that said $1 million to like Bluebird or whatever, Laidlaw or whatever the company is? Laidlaw, right? Yeah. No, it's not. It's obviously like if it's like 50 transactions, like you don't see that. You just see a giant summary statement.
Yeah.
If the blockchain you'd have to see every transaction. Okay, so like that's the whole.
There's no just saying, hey, we'll send you the money. Like, no, the money, it has to be moved.
Yeah, it has to. And So anything related to within the blockchain, any transaction, no matter how small, once it goes from one wallet address to another wallet address, automatically the blockchain just updates it. Okay,
Right.
so
But it also, okay, yeah, I remember seeing this too. So say I have 3 coins, you have 3 Bitcoins,
yeah,
someone else has 3 Bitcoins. It not only updates that the transactions happen, but it
yeah,
also updates what my wallet has. So if I
yes,
send you 2 and then
yeah,
I want to send our other buddy 2,
yeah.
it automatically the transaction will fail because everybody has been updated that I had 3, I
Mhm.
sent 2, I now
Oh
only
yeah,
have 1.
exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point. Good point. And that's what, yeah, super good point. Yeah, it definitely
So
keeps
even
track.
your
Yeah,
holdings is get like we'll use that term.
your
Your
holdings. Yeah,
holdings in your
yeah,
wallet is updated with the chain to say, hey, he
exactly.
had 3, now he only has 1. So
That's a
everybody would
huge
now
point.
know that that wallet only has 1 Bitcoin in it.
Exactly. And that goes with the ledger. That's so cool. Great,
Yeah.
great point. Yeah, your wallet balance is kept there. And that's what also maintains the ledger. So there's no central bank that's like, oh, we have to verify Ryan's account holdings. No, it goes with the transaction.
Right. There's no printing of like, oh, I
Yeah.
need another Bitcoin. Let's just print a new one.
And
It's
there's no
not
disputing it because once the block has been verified and put forward, it's immutable, which is our next point. So
boom.
so for blockchain, we've transparent, there's decentralized, transparent, and then immutable, which is the last thing. So this basically means the blockchain can't be altered. Now we can get like somewhat technical. So like, okay, and we're just talking about Bitcoin here,
And
just Bitcoin. Go ahead.
FYI, we are not professionals in any like we could be butchering the terminology and all this
Right.
stuff. We're just trying to explain it in our words
Conceptually.
to,
Yeah.
my grandma.
Yeah. Well, maybe not your grandmother.
No, maybe not my grandma. I
Okay,
couldn't
so
even get her to
I know,
use a
right?
remote a
You're like,
remote on the
it's called
TV.
an email, grandma. An email. You've known about this. We've done this. All right, sorry. No shade to your grandma. Sorry. I know. I'm sorry. That's why I said sorry. I know.
It's yeah, well,
Sorry.
it's all right, buddy.
She's dead.
Well, mine is, but other people could have a live grandma
Okay,
that, hey,
okay.
maybe they're text that, maybe they got a cell
Yeah,
phone, they're
that's true.
tweeting and
In
texting, and
heaven? Sorry. We're done. We're done. All right. Okay.
immutable. The data
Immutable.
cannot be
Immutable.
altered once the data is set and
Yeah.
verified in a block or on the blockchain. You cannot go and alter it.
Okay, let's talk about this here. So this is cool. So Ryan has 3 Bitcoin. He wants to send one to Devon. How does he do so? Like, we're going to talk about wallets in a second, but like, we go to whatever we're using to do so, an exchange or whatever, and he sends it to my wallet. Now, like, the way that this happens is this transaction is going out there, and the network. And I know I've said network, but the network actually is the blockchain. The blockchain isn't a line; it's actually a network. So the network is like the blockchain network is like, okay, hey, there's a transaction. We have to verify this. Now, there's a couple different models of verification. Some of them are like consensus, some of them are work. Like we're gonna get into crazy stuff. We're not gonna do it all now. But to verify for the Bitcoin network, you have to basically solve a mathematical equation. This is a block hash, Bitcoin hash. It's like a super, super hard math problem. And it basically takes like a supercomputer, a really, really powerful computer to solve this. You ever wonder how when you're putting in your credit card number, you'll put in like what is it? Like I can probably pull it up now.
It's
Do you what's your
four
what's
sequences of 4 numbers.
well, I just mean the first 4 numbers of your like Visa card, right?
Five.
And it'll know. It'll know
Yeah.
because the first 4 numbers are all the same,
Yes.
right? And you're like, how does it know that? Like it's a what? It's a 12-digit number, and
Yeah.
you'll put in, the first 4 numbers, and immediately it's gonna like, oh, this is a MasterCard. And you're like, okay, well, maybe
Yeah,
just MasterCard
there's a
owns those
trigger.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, that's no big deal. But then you'll put in the numbers, right? And it'll be one number off, and it'll be like, this number doesn't exist. Before you even put in like the date and the thing, it knows whether the number exists or not.
Right.
I forget the term now, but there is a mathematical proof, which is like when you're getting into big math, where a 12-digit, like there's actually a thing where you say, okay, if you have a 12-digit number and you're basing it off this baseline of numbers, these numbers can't exist. And when they program credit cards, there's there's actually a mathematical thing where they say all of our numbers are going to be based off this set of numbers, which means that we can have, I don't know, like 30. That's not 30. They're going to be, we can have like, 100 million 12-digit numbers, but it'll never include this 100 million 12-digit numbers. Because, like, let's say there's, I don't know, a billion combinations. There's an actual thing where they know whether this number exists within their parameters or not. So basically, there's like super, super hard math out there that your computer, Ryan's actual laptop, is trying to solve. And if your computer is the first to solve it, the blockchain is like, sweet, you have solved this super, super hard math equation. And what you're basically doing is like cryptography. You're decrypting like this because like when you send the information, it like it's encrypted. That's the word. Can't believe it's encrypted, right? And in order to like secure to prove, you have to decrypt it. And decryption's hard. That's why they're like, the longer your password is, the harder it is to decrypt. They're like, if your password's 10 letters, it'll take this computer a year to decrypt it. You know, like whatever.
Yeah, I saw some chart where it was like, if your password is a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols, and it's about 16 characters long, it will take like 37 years for someone a hacker
on a basic computer. Yeah.
Right.
So that's why they have supercomputers. And that's why their supercomputers are running like graphic cards, because they're just like, they don't have screens. They're just literally crunching numbers, hoping that they solve the equation first. So when they solve it first, then the blockchain's like, you decrypted this block, this information. You have proved that this block matches. Awesome. We are now creating a new block and on the blockchain, and you've just made a block. And for the work you've done in decrypting this, we are going to reward you with a little bit of the transaction. We're going to actually mint a new Bitcoin for you and give that to you. And we're also going to charge the blockchain a little bit of service fees. So when a miner completes that and wins the decrypting race, they get rewarded in two different ways. A new Bitcoin is minted and they get some of that. And also there's service fees in any transaction that you send, and they get some of that.
So as of right now, if a miner successfully adds a block to the chain, they receive 6.25 Bitcoin.
Exactly.
And we're coming up to...
Whoa, you're getting ahead of yourself. It's further in the notes.
Oh, you're down there? Oh, sorry.
Well,
sorry.
We're
just talking about solving. Anyways,
it's down here.
Let me just throw this out there. I saw this random fact that this shit just sticks to my head. I saw a fact today that, you know, pi, the 3 point.
Oh, this is so fucking wild.
They have not been able to find a pattern in the first 10 million numbers after 3.1.
Yeah, isn't that
was it 3.14?
3.14. And it just goes on.
Yeah. And there's 10 million numbers after that. It's an infinite number. Yeah. There's no pattern in the first 10 million numbers after.
Isn't that crazy? Like crazy.
The fact that somebody, like, it's been written out or somewhere shown somewhere.
They have
no pattern.
They have memory tests for guys and gals that do that, where they're like, there's a person's like recited it for like 50,000 numbers, right?
Yep.
Which is crazy.
I used to be able to recite like the first 20 numbers or something.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
Weirdo.
I know.
You're losing it. You got to get back to your memory games.
You know what? You know why? Because of goddamn technology.
Oh yeah.
I don't have to save addresses in my head. I don't have.
Don't you remember when we used to have everyone's phone number in our head?
I know our buddy SPK's house phone number that he hasn't had in how long.
Yeah, you totally would.
You know what I mean?
His cell phone numbers.
He utilizes bits of it. The whole family does. But nobody has to, and this is me and Miss KO were talking about how it's like we grew up. I think our generation's the best because we went from an analog to a digital world. We saw the progression where my daughter and younger generations they just were born into the internet.
Yeah, they don't get how crazy the shit is going on around them.
I think my grandparents' age, where like my wife's grandparents came over on a boat. They had no electricity, and then as they're dying, they're like PVRing TV shows to watch later.
Sorry,
you know what I mean? It's like they're almost at the point where they're churning their own butter and they're rationing butter after the war to go into PVR in Coronation Street. So you know what I mean? Like that era is crazy.
Did they ever watch Downton Abbey?
No, I think they passed away before it became.
Oh, damn it! Why do I keep on going back to this?
I don't know. You just like talking
I'm
about
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry. I watched Downton Abbey though. Miss it. Okay, all right. Let's get back to this. So
yes,
That's a big deal. So whenever okay, Ryan's sending Devon money. Um, Someone out there who's running the blockchain, a node operator, is trying to solve this. They've got a bunch of supercomputers in their basement running like crazy. And then all of a sudden they're like, boom, got it. I decrypted this block. Awesome. And the network shaves off a little bit of our transaction and processing fees, gives it to the miner, but they also mint some new Bitcoin. And the completed block results in 6.2, as Ryan said. And
Yes.
that's the reward.
And this is all happening in like seconds.
Yeah, like
And a block that is being solved can have one transaction or 1,000 or 10,000
I'm
or
so
50,000.
glad you said that.
Like it doesn't. I don't know what the parameters are. What gets put into a block?
This is where shit gets crazy because Ethereum, which is the virtual machine, is where they opened it up to making it so that the block could. There's a different block size, but the block could contain any type of data, and that's why they called it a virtual machine. This goes really deep because
don't go deep.
Yeah, I can't. The blocks can contain anything, and if you string the blocks together and you have them execute in different ways, they can replicate and build themselves and and they're like, well, how do you stop the blockchain? And it's like you can't because it's run decentralized. So then essentially, I might be butchering that concept, but it's deep and it's really, really cool. Okay.
So I did get the question, how many blockchains are out there? And I was like, oh, I probably 1,000.
I was gonna.
There's four types of blockchains. Apparently.
Oh, I used to know. We covered that on an early episode.
We probably did. I just Googled how many blockchains because I wanted to be. There are 4 types of blockchain.
Okay, let's see
networks.
if we can. I can. There's. Wait, so are we talking like proof of work, proof of stake, like that kind of stuff? No, because that's style. Oh yeah, I don't remember anymore. But I remember.
I've never seen it. There's public blockchains, private blockchains, hybrid blockchains, and consortium blockchains.
Consortium. We covered this, man, and we covered this.
See, I forgot this
in February of 2022.
But fair enough. But either way, I was just putting it out there that like we're only focusing on Bitcoin right now because we could go down the rabbit hole. But there's like that. I would say hundreds, thousands of different blockchains that all do different things.
It keeps on
right? Like Ethereum, like you said, does one thing. Cardano came out and did something else. Alluvio that we just had last week, they do media content, streaming, and that kind of that's a different blockchain.
But the concept, so there's like the high level concept of them remains the same.
Yes.
But how they operate is different. And what we're talking about is how Bitcoin, the very first one, operated. So don't forget that.
Yes.
So you have mined this thing. You have solved this block, and it contains information. It might be a transaction of just Ryan sending Devon money. It could be 100 little transactions. You don't really know. The block has a finite amount of information that it can hold. But based on how active the blockchain is, Bitcoin tends to mine a new block every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, 6.2 blockchain are being rewarded.
Bitcoin are being rewarded.
Sorry, thank you. Bitcoins are being minted. And that individual that's a node operator that solves that decrypts the transaction, they have just mined Bitcoin. So that's what a Bitcoin miner is.
And that's how new coins obviously get into the ecosystem of the
and
Bitcoin
that's called
blockchain.
Minting new coins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and at this point now, because Bitcoin's been around for so long, most miners are like corporations unfortunately.
Good point, because
like I think Texas was a big hotspot for like mining camps or whatever. I don't know exactly what they call, but they're taxing farms, mining farms, because they're taxing, and groups will get together, corporations will get together and pool all their resources to have these crazy farms.
At first the blockchain network was smaller, right? Because there weren't as many nodes operating. It wasn't happening as quickly, the value was lower. So you could have like a laptop, like, dude, I'm not gonna go into it, but like I downloaded the software and I was like, I'm afraid, what am I doing? Am I just hacking my whole computer? So I could have ran it back then, like, but right now you can't download this and run this effectively on a regular computer you pick up.
No, you're not going to go. Yeah, you're not.
You will not be able to get anything. The cryptography hash, so the de-encryption that you have to solve is way. There's so many more computers with way more power that they'll just do it in this really, really quickly, and you won't be able
It
to
has
have the
happened.
processing power.
I have seen it recently. Like the odd article will pop up where like Joe Schmo
Randomly, yeah, just
randomly has like
happenstance,
a
yeah,
miner and he just happened to solve a block. It
yeah,
happens, but
which would be
very,
really, really
very
cool.
rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason, and then so just to let you know what these mining computers look like, they they are just basically like just like
Towers with the gaming the thing in it,
or
right?
not even, man. Like some of these mining, look up what a miner looks like. It looks like a box. It looks like a, you know, the power supply in your tower where it's
Yeah.
just this a thing with a grate and a fan.
Yeah.
It looks like that. And then on this and in there, there's just like three graphic cards. And they're just running because graphic cards can process a lot. So
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
got NVIDIA GeForce Maxes or whatever. I don't even know if that's what they're called. They just
Yeah.
got NVIDIA cards in there. And then those are just connected to a central computer somewhere, a terminal. And that terminal is just being like, we've got 10 miners, mining computers running 24 hours a day, just trying to get that block. And
Yep.
like, just in case you're like, okay, well, they're getting 6.2 Bitcoin. Why is that a big deal? Well, what's the price of a Bitcoin now? You're actually hovering around that.
Probably 30,000. Oh,
39,044
so
4,000.
40,000
Yeah,
USD or Canadian.
that's Canadian. I did that check.
So okay, so yeah, I'm not doing the public math on
I'm
that.
doing it
That's
right
probably
now.
what, like
So
$240,000.
if you were to successfully mint a new block, you get 156,000 bucks.
Verify new block.
Verify a block. Sorry. Thank you. No, honestly, correct me. Verify a new block. You would mint 6 point. Actually, I did that wrong. That's not 6. That's 4. I did that wrong. I like 39. 1, 2, 3 times 6. Sorry.
So
Yeah, that's way more
generally,
like it.
so okay, so can I move on to this part here?
Yeah,
Okay,
totally.
so you get like we're talking, you get 6.25 Bitcoin for solving or verifying a block.
Yeah.
The thing with Bitcoin too is there only ever gonna be 21 million Bitcoins out there.
Yeah, which is when you think about it, like genius shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to think about hard to understand how genius this stuff is because we keep on printing new money. And that's where inflation comes from. When we are
Yes.
like struggling with COVID and pandemic and all this stuff, like the government's like, people don't have money. Okay, make new money and just give it out to people.
Yeah, exactly.
So then
There's a
now,
finite supply of Bitcoin.
right. But our money, there's way more. So it becomes devalued because it's not scarce anymore. It's
Right.
easier to get. So the value of it is actually less. So you need more money to buy what you bought before because it's like supply and demand. If like we're in the desert and I got like one water bottle, how much are you going to pay for that water bottle? You'll give me fucking anything. You'll cut your arm off for that water bottle. But if you're in the desert and I show up with like, 50,000, you're going to be like, I'll pay you $1 for it because there's 50,000 water bottles.
Yeah.
So in this analogy, the water bottles is the money. The more money they print, the less valuable it becomes. But the less money you have, the more valuable it becomes. So that's the more money, that's inflation. The less is deflation.
There you go.
But
So
21 million
overall, so right now, as of April 2023, we passed 19 million in supply,
which is crazy when you think about it, eh?
It is, but with that every 4 years of the rewards getting halved, it's gonna last. What is it? 2140 is the projected time where all the Bitcoin will be released, which is 117 years from now.
Okay,
because
so
every 4 years it gets halved. So next,
what is it? Why? What is so that happening? They just made it up. It's designed that way. It's not like it's like when they thought of this, they were like, okay, let's make it so there's only going to be 21 million. Great. Why? Because we never want it to like inflate to a point where it gets too like cheap or whatever. You know what I mean? Like we don't want to just make it forever or else it'll lose its value. So they cap it at 21 mil. And then they're just like, by the way, every 4 years, we're just going to decrease the amount of reward you get for mining it. So
right. So not only does it get harder to solve a block as time goes on, rewards are less and less.
Exactly. Which is so that it's basically what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it could be even more than 117 years from now, because if it
Exactly.
becomes less and less rewarding to solve, why are people gonna solve?
Well,
But it's also
less
the
people
only
will be
way
able to solve it too.
that, and that's the only way for more Bitcoins to be released is you
Yeah.
have to verify a block. So
It's already really hard. Like, there's no way I'd get into the mining game now. 4 or 5 years ago, I could mine and be like, yeah, I'm
yeah,
going to make some money. Like, but now I'm not. So, like, you're just not going to go into it. So it's harder to get.
yep,
And when you do get it, they give you less. So
yeah,
4 years ago, so actually, the next happening is next March, uh,
projected.
projected. Yeah. Well, you never
So
know
the
because,
last time the halvening happened with Bitcoin,
yeah,
crypto went into a bull run.
right.
No, yeah, bull
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
bull market
Because, yeah.
for whatever
So,
reason, because it's like, oh, less rewards. It pumps the
yeah, because
crypto
people are like,
space.
this value is going to go up.
Yeah,
So 3.5 years ago, every time you minted a block, you got 12 Bitcoin, 12 point
yeah,
something,
right.
which is crazy. It
Yep.
was worth less back then, but it was still worth like 16,000 or 12,000.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like,
Yep.
so that's just designed in the Bitcoin
Yeah.
blockchain system. Like, all the softwares have a built-in timer that, oh, everyone's updated. And, like, by the way, they say every 4 years, but it's not based on years, it's based on blocks. So
Yeah.
every time 210,000 blocks are minted, the whole system,
Verified.
sorry, fuck, I keep on saying, every time 210 blocks are verified, the whole system not resets itself. It just says, okay, now
Congratulations, half.
the reward is for verifying a new block is, boom, slashed in half, which is will bring it down to 3.1. Crazy.
It's
Like,
insane. But this
just,
is this is the OG blockchain,
yeah.
and we just go from, that's what I said, all these other blockchains. Because does any other blockchain that we delve into or play around in do this happening, and do they follow this system of like miners get rewarded with and it's the only way the coin gets released, the cryptocurrency gets
Well,
released?
this concept is proof of work, and there were other proof of work chains, but like Ethereum, right? Proof of work, but
I've never
they're
actually thought about how does new Ethereum tokens get introduced.
conceptually similar, same way,
Yeah,
but it's
same
work.
way.
Yeah, but and now we're getting to proof of work versus proof of stake. Well, I
We
think we'll
don't need,
talk about
that's,
that.
yeah, that's a
Let's do
different
that in one
episode.
second. I guess the last thing, well, not the last thing, but this one's pretty big. This one to talk about, because
Yes,
I remember this being a question. So it's like, okay, so if I want to buy Bitcoin, I have to have, based on today,
$39,000.
August 1st, 2023, $39,000, I can't buy this. No, the same way $100 can be broken down into 50, can be broken down into 25, or you can break things down, a dollar into 1 cent.
Yeah,
One Bitcoin can be broken down. This part I actually did not. I knew it could be broken down. I knew it could be broken down to sats. You could Satoshis, because we knew about that.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't know there were lots of steps in between that. Did you know that?
What do you mean? You figured it? I figured every percent or every,
Order of magnitude.
yeah. I figured there was a name for something. Like
You're entirely right. I never thought
I
about
never
that.
knew that. I knew SAT
Dude.
because of NFTs that are on Bitcoin now,
Right,
but like
exactly. Yeah.
but I didn't know the names of all the. But I figured there was a name for something.
There's names for everything. I only went down. I didn't even go up, but there is like mega Bitcoin, which is like 100,000 Bitcoins.
Oh,
Yeah, that's an
oh, it goes the
actual,
other way.
it goes both ways. I
Oh,
didn't know that it goes up and down.
oh, it's like a,
Yeah.
oh, that's the buy in the
Bitcoin
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is the
It goes both
middle. Oh
ways.
my god. That's awesome.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to explain this joke,
Oh man, that is super inclusive.
and that's why we're here, folks.
Thank you for coming. That's the buy in Bitcoin.
Goes both ways. There we go.
Okay, so there's Decibitcoin, Centibitcoin, Millibitcoin, Micro Bitcoin, and then it goes down to Satoshis, which is 0. Well, there's
One,
seven
two,
zeros.
yeah.
but Dessa is 0.01 Bitcoin, and then Centi and Milli, they're not actually just adding 1 0. Sometimes they add 3, sometimes they add 4. I didn't write it all out, but I was like, whatever,
Yeah, that's
you
fine.
get it.
You get
And
the
then
point.
and then it goes up.
But this, for example, would be book token that they just did the ITO for.
Right. Yeah.
The original book token wasn't divisible.
Mm.
So they made it so the new one is
Oh
now
yeah, right,
divisible
yeah,
because of stuff like certain things, right?
yeah. Because
when
when
you're gonna reward someone, you can now reward them with like point zero zero zero
yeah,
zero
portions of it.
five of a token.
Because if it wasn't divisible, then you would have to buy a full Bitcoin. But
And it
like,
would be like an infinite amount supply you would need
yeah,
because
yeah. So right now, if you have $10, you can buy Bitcoin. You're just going to get a portion, a fraction of the one Bitcoin, and
I
it'll.
could tell you right now, I'll go into my for anyone that wants to have a actually never mind, not financial advice. I have an X First wallet, which is like a Bitcoin NFT wallet.
Hmm.
I have $35 USD in my Bitcoin wallet, and it's 0.0011745 of a Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah.
$35 US.
So this actually comes down to like, so that the fact that's divisible is how this currency has been designed to be made for everyday purchases.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about it, I'm going to pause here before we can actually talk about how to get it. Everything I talked about is because I want you guys to recognize that Bitcoin has been designed to replace all other currencies. And I think people forget about that.
Yes.
Yeah, it really has been. It's divisible so you can buy large items and small items. It breaks down into these different things. The halvening makes it so that instead of being inflationary, as in, the longer it exists, the less valuable it gets. It's the opposite. The longer it exists, the more valuable it gets. So it's not going to run away like our currency. Like
Right.
you were able to buy a freaking house before, for 50,000, and now you need 1.2 mil in Toronto to live in a box that's 12 feet wide. Have you seen, you're not on social media that much, but do you see the listings that are out there for
I
like,
can't do it because
it's heartbreaking stuff. Anyways, sorry, let's stay on track here. But yeah, it's been designed to retain it's designed to work like gold. Like gold has not gone backwards, gold's gone upwards because it's a naturally occurring element that is scarce. It's hard to mine. It's only created by the earth. We can't create it.
Yeah.
And it's inflationary, and Bitcoin's designed the same way. It's also decentralized so that once it's out there, a government can't shut it down. The government can't be like, hey, let's just stop the blockchain. They can be like, well, how do we do that? They're like, well, all you have to do is go to any computer that's ever installed it and uninstall that. Like, how do you do? It's not possible.
No.
When it comes to immutability, and we didn't even talk about this, but like, so like you might be like, okay, well, like, can't you just like undo a block, or like, what if no one solves it?
Right.
No, someone will solve it eventually, right?
Yeah.
And you can't unsolve it because the minute that block has been verified, it updates the ledger, and then that node sends the new ledger to all the rest of the nodes, and then they all have it. That's why you'd have to stop every computer. Ethereum, Ethereum
Classic.
is, well, I'm trying to remember how we mess up the saying ETH is the currency and Ethereum is the blockchain.
Ether is the token, Ethereum is the blockchain.
So the Ethereum blockchain, the second blockchain ever created, similar concept. They had a huge hack. We're talking like, I wanted to pull up the stats on this, but wasn't it like over $300 million was stolen in the early days?
Yeah, it was something stupid.
It was a huge amount of money. And it was so bad that they realized that this would disenfranchise people from using Ethereum, and it would kind of result in the blockchain losing all the momentum. So and like, you might think this is going to sound centralized, but it's not. And stay tuned to the end. So the organization, which is a nonprofit that runs the Ethereum blockchain, when I say runs it, they govern it. They can't like stop it. They can't like say, do this, do that. The blockchain is running on everyone's computer on its own. They just govern it. They might just say, hey, we want this to happen. And they might say, we're going to, do we want to do this update? But then the node operators can vote and be like, we don't want to do it or whatever. And then they're like, okay, we can't. Like it's decentralized. It has to have some sort of a consensus.
Hmm.
But for example, there was this huge hack. We actually talk about it in episode. I don't know. I don't
Ethereum
that's a tough
Classic
one.
22.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll guess. We'll figure it out. We talk about it because we didn't know, but there was such a huge hack and so many key people lost money that was like crippling to the entire blockchain. And it was so early that they made an executive decision. They were like, okay, what we should do is stop the blockchain. We can't really stop it, but we can abandon that block because just I'm going to pick a random number here, but let's say they were like block number, 1 million was the hack where everyone lost their money. So why don't we go to block 9? I'm gonna say block 100 was the block that everyone got hacked. We verified it because computers, solved the equation and it drained this person's wallet. It was a bad fucking block. It was a huge hack.
Yeah.
So then the organization was like, node operators, we saw what happened because we can all see what happened on the
Yeah,
ledger.
of course.
They're like, we are petitioning that everyone goes to block 99 and we start the blockchain again from block number 99. And block 100, we're just going to abandon it and pretend it doesn't exist. And some people were like, no, it's the integrity, blah, blah, blah. But then some people were like, listen, man, we all lost so much friggin' money. Screw it. We vote. And the node operators have the power to vote because in order to run a node, you have to have a lot of money and it's a complicated thing. But they voted and they were like, we agree. So then they did an update and they created a patch and they sent that out to the entire network. And they said, okay, you have the option because we can't actually stop this. So you can now keep on going and and verify block 101 and just keep on going as it was. Or you can come over here. And at 99, we're going to fork the chain and start off in a new chain. And there'll be like, there'll be two 100s. So that was called a fork. And the people that were like, screw you and wanted to verify on the original 100 became Ethereum Classic. And everyone else that was like, screw this, 300 million is way too much to lose, they became the actual Ethereum network. So anytime you hear us talking about Ethereum, any of the networks that any project now is actually on the fork. They're not the
Yeah,
actual
it's
original
after
blockchain.
yeah.
So they can't be stopped. Can't be stopped. Anyways, lastly, how do you buy blockchain? How do you buy like cryptocurrency? You go to a website that connects to the blockchain, and that website will allow you to exchange your fiat currency, your regular currency, for cryptocurrency. That's why they're called exchanges. And usually you'll put in like your credit card and they'll say, okay, give us your credit card number, and will either allow you to mint cryptocurrency or buy cryptocurrency directly from the chain, or we'll buy it for you. And that's the whole different thing, but that's basically how you do it. And then you're in the blockchain game. Easy.
Part of the chain gang.
Chain gang. Yeah, I'm done. That was exhausting. That's a lot.
That was
I
a
think
lot.
we tried to like break it down, but it's a lot.
So, okay. Today I remember obviously Paps puts me on to stuff. Well, puts us on to stuff. And I was taking a look at it. And earlier he had mentioned something about there's this project that's using Origin Trail. But like you got to go check them out. So I was sitting in there today and I had done the first step and I didn't realize what I was doing at the time, but they had like a treasure hunt going on to promote their new their web. So basically I'll just read their first pinned tweet. It says, welcome to Web3's first Omniverse, where storytelling meets the power of the Origin Trail knowledge graph, which I think is digital knowledge graph. Today we'll dive into a few basic entities of, what would you say, Marfia?
Which one? Which way are you reading?
I sent you their website. Let me
Track first.
Yeah. Let me.
Okay.
That's the tweet I was just.
Gotcha. Sweet.
So they're basically doing an
That's
NFT.
Cool.
An NFT project, storytelling, and if you go through the whole thread here, it kind of breaks it down on what exactly they're doing. It was last Friday. They marked a milestone in Web3 as we unveiled the first living story. It's an
Huh.
what's that word? Opportune moment.
Uh,
Sorry, opportune moment to delve into the technical intricacies that make. How can I say intricacies? No problem, but I can't say opportune.
yeah, because you're not used to it.
Yeah, I
It's no
guess.
one, no one uses opportune moment. I get it, but like no one says that.
Anyways, to delve into the technical intricacies that
We're
make our
weird.
graph stories possible.
Hmm.
So they use knowledge graphs. So harnessing the power of AI tech, such as ChatGPT and more, we're crafting narratives deeply rooted in our own worldview. Our core storyline is not randomly generated. It revolves around fundamental questions we believe humanity must confront as AI technology evolves.
Which
So
which one in the thread are you reading? Which
I'm
oh
on
you
number that was number
that
three
was
out of
number
10.
okay,
So
cool.
number four, living stories aren't merely disjointed narratives churned out by AI. We say
This is cool.
So what I wanted to do is show you what do I screen have you screen share and show you where to go, or did I just kind of like
Yeah, just show me where to go because I'm here. You want me to go to track first?
yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was earlier today, but so you had to go
Do
to
I need
this.
sound?
Um, I guess you could use sound. So you would go into their
Well, it'll mess up the.
yeah. So if you go to Storyverse and their, sorry, I had to go. Oh, okay, here you are. Yeah, now I'm all thrown off now because I have your screen. Okay, so if you go to Storyverse and you go read Living Story,
This looks so cool. This
oh,
artwork.
the website
This
and everything.
website is
Yeah,
baller.
I was super impressed. I was like, okay, this is what I had done last. I think I'd done this Friday or Saturday when
Yo.
Paps was telling us about it. So if you go to read Living Story,
I have a dumb question. What project is this?
what is it? Trackverse,
Trackverse? Oh, okay. All right.
right?
I've never heard of this before right now.
Yeah. So you go there, and
Yeah.
then at the top it says play. How do I go full screen again? Full screen. There we go.
Me? Oh,
No, me. So you go play the music. You can hear music playing. Yeah,
yeah.
and then
Can
you
you
would
hear
play
it?
the voice. So then you would click "Who are you?" And then it takes you to this other thing. So the voice. So basically, be play. So now it's kind of interactive story, right? I can kind of hear it from your end, but
It's
basically,
talking in the
yeah,
background. Yeah.
you play the music, and it's just like background music while someone's talking to you. So then you're talking to them like you have prompts, like pick one of the two.
Hmm.
So you would go through that. And then what I wanted to, let me just double check on the website where I'm supposed to lead you to. As people can hear, he's doing it.
So
So
is this AI generated right now?
I don't think so.
I'll
I
pause
think
the sound if it's.
yeah, I'd have to go into the Twitter. I can't. I just was reading it, but now I'm trying to remember how I got to the knowledge graph part. What did I click? Um, so you can actually go and explore the knowledge graphs, and what they're doing is like it's a basically kind of what we were talking about with the chains. Click here to view content. How the hell did I get to the knowledge? You see how it's maybe the omniverse, and now I got music playing. So yeah, I'm trying to navigate through everything here. Blog, where the hell is it?
Sorry, I'm just
More.
laughing because I'm laughing at you trying to. You always like go through. You're like, this is awesome. This is awesome. Then you get to the end, and you're like,
I know I should
I'll
have had all
never
this.
get back here again. And you always tell me about it. I'm like, I don't know. But I get you get there eventually. Um,
Yes, I will get there.
Here's what I'll
Just
say about track first. This is pretty cool and some of the coolest artwork I've seen in quite some time.
right.
So yeah, no, I really like it a lot. So this omniverse is knowledge graphs that are creating their own narrative story based on base level prompts, I suppose.
Yes.
And like which means then like whatever story or whatever you get, it's like they got to be talking to ChatGPT here to like randomly generate this story for you. So everyone's getting
Yes.
their own custom story based on whatever prompts they put together.
Yeah.
Um,
This is. Oh, okay. Here I got it. Okay. Sorry.
so you should search your screen.
I'm gonna send it to you so that you can get into it. Sorry, folks. This is all my stupidity.
It's all
I couldn't
good.
remember how to get so now you're getting into you could share your screen with me if you want,
Okay.
and I'll just kind of
Someone
pull.
listening is probably super annoyed. They're like, "What am I looking at here? You got to be trying to drop these
Well,
links.
this is why you're the wordsmith of our group. So
Just drop it in the." Okay. What's the D? Decentralized knowledge graph?
is it decentralized or digital? I can't remember.
Uh, I
Digital
don't.
knowledge graph,
I don't
decentralized,
know.
probably either way, we want to have them on. So if you look
I have
so what
never
would
looked
you
at this.
yeah,
Okay.
so in the middle here, what would you call it? What would you
Okay.
describe it
Is
as?
this thing here in the middle?
Yeah, and you can just zoom in and
Okay. So,
zoom
in
out.
all honesty, this is going to be dumb, and I can't believe I didn't think about this before. But there's a note-taking app called Obsidian, and they share your notes. Can you see my screen?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they share notes. Oh, I don't have it set up, but it takes your notes, and let's say you write a note about this, you write a journal entry about the zoo, and then
Yeah.
later on you watch a nature show and you mention the lion. It'll
Hmm.
make like a back channel connection between the word lion and the notes, and then say those two notes are related, and then you can like plot them out, and it'll blow them up and be like, this is how your notes are interconnected, and
Right.
that's I think what a knowledge graph is. So this, if you know your graphs, I think this is a knowledge graph.
No. Well, okay, so they have the knowledge. Yeah, this whole thing would be a knowledge graph, but
Yeah,
that's a knowledge asset. So if you click on one of them, whatever one you want.
yeah. So I click
Oh, click, yeah, that one.
that one. So right,
And now
basically
watch what
what
it
this is like a hub with all these lines shooting out.
everything's interconnected.
Yeah.
Everything's connected in it. But if you go through
Oh
here,
man, that is so cool.
so if you look to the like if you click
The left over here.
no over here. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, click resources and click the little arrow to the left there. The little
This,
tab bar.
this.
Yeah, that one. There's the story.
Okay, so let's back
But
up for a second.
yeah,
Because it's like I feel like we should almost describe what happened over here, which is gone now.
just hit reload, like
Uh,
refresh.
But essentially, you got to. It's like a hub, and this hub has like, think about an insect, except it's just like one body, and then it has legs going out of it, and then each leg has like these hexagons at the ends of it and at random points in the middle. So then you click along the line. So you click one of these. Let's say you click this hexagon at the end,
You're
and
clicking
then
a knowledge asset in the whole graph of itself,
yeah, but like
and
I don't know what a knowledge asset is, but this is the
it's like a
story.
minted NFT, but it stores data, and then all these little nodes, these little blue things coming
Yeah,
off of that knowledge asset is tied to that one asset. But then all that to the right in that blob, and it say everything that's connected to that one knowledge asset
yeah.
also is interconnected to the main one that we're on. So as you start clicking all these knowledge asset hexagons, they start all bubbling up like that. So you see the bigger grand scope of
So these
all
knowledge assets are portions of the story.
theoretic. Yeah, I think that's how.
And what are these little guys down here? Like this, and these are
So these
elements
are
that can be.
yeah, these are like parts of the story where it's like if you click like right there, Marfa Prime Earth, and then you go to the next, like you can move them too. If you click on it, you can move it any kind of which way you want.
Cool.
But then the story that is written would be, yeah, see planet Earth.
Okay, I see what you're saying here.
And
Okay,
then
so
here in the middle, so there's little blue dots that just kind of have the story points to it. In the middle there, to the other blue one with like the little link looking thing. If you click that, that actually opens the website of where I guess all this information would be found if it was like if you click it, it'll open a web page, but it won't load for you over
okay.
here.
Okay, so basically what's happening here is this is a visualization of how the story could unfold in front of you
Or
in a
how it is unfolding.
well, how it is unfolding in front of you in a graphical format. So you have like a major point of the story, which is a hexagon, which is a knowledge asset, and you can
Which is a
click it,
minted NFT.
which is a minted NFT. What does it look like?
I don't know exactly. This is because I'm still new to Origin Trail, but they're
Why did
utilizing.
why did they mint this as an NFT?
I'm guessing the knowledge assets are minted so that there's this transparency to everything. Like everything's just connected. I don't know. I don't know the tech behind it. I don't know 100%. But what happened today was they announced that there was a treasure hunt and you had to
Mhm.
find 4 things. And basically this thing here to the right that's green, click on
Right.
that.
Like this way?
Yeah, click that. So I had to go through and click on a bunch of all these knowledge assets and read the story and learn about the characters and all this stuff until I found these things to fill out and tweet
Gotcha.
about. So, but it tells you everything of what you're supposed to do.
Right. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Okay, I see. So they sent you on a little scavenger hunt,
Right.
navigating this story in
One
a
part,
knowledge graph format as opposed to reading it.
yeah, and
It's pretty cool.
the first part was listening to the story like you were listening at the website there, and clicking prompts and trying to go through the storyline and unlock a link basically. And then the second part was actually navigating through the knowledge graph of the project.
Gotcha.
So I guess as more goes on, you could go back here and read all about it. There's like IPF links that you could copy and go and check out the artwork. It's really interesting to see, because I thought Origin Trail was just going to be like a thing that AI would use for the truth of the internet because of the blockchain and all that.
Interesting.
But
okay,
it seems like a lot of decentralized knowledge graph. So the D is decentralized.
Oh boy. Wow.
So
okay.
it says there, it's an Origin Trail decentralized knowledge graph is an open, trusted knowledge foundation for artificial intelligence. Combining knowledge graph and blockchain technologies, it enables a universe of AI-ready knowledge assets connected across organizations and individuals. And then it explains what a knowledge asset is.
Okay. So if we look here, there are some you can. This is interesting.
Supply chain, life sciences, scientific research, metaverse. There's so much. Like, this is why I want to have them on, because like this would be our technical, like, to explain this to me like I'm a newborn, not even a toddler.
Yeah, but this is quite difficult to explain.
Of
You
course.
have to see it.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I wanted to kind of get your reaction, because it is hard to explain. Also, because the treasure hunt's on right now, so I didn't want to spoil it for other people.
Nice, I see what you're saying. Okay, well, if we're looking at it together, it'll be. Oh yeah, I have to click over here. Okay.
Yeah, that's for like the broader spot of the knowledge asset, but all the purple you can click, all the hexagon. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And
Christ.
now zoom out.
Oh wow,
right?
that was
it now
very
looks
cool.
like a city map almost. Everything's pointed at like.
What am I looking at? The supply chain knowledge graph? Yeah, because manufacturer.
Oh right, yeah, we moved on from the other thing. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you know what though, man? Like these knowledge networks are how like people. So it's okay. Big companies do this kind of stuff so they can try to find where people are doing something similar and link them together, and then this is how they'll be like, this is our supply chain network, and be like, we have a blockage here because this is a dead end when it really needs to go there, like, which is wild. This is very cool. It's cool. And art informs technology, and so. This is really cool.
Right. So, but that's what I was doing this afternoon instead of, researching DeFi.
And I guess they mint it as an NFT because once it's minted, you can't, like, it's there, it's immutable,
it's verified,
blockchain, right? It's verified, so then you like can trust that source.
But again, this is why I want to have them on to like. This is when I was in March, when I was driving home from Florida. I was listening to that Twitter space about this. Okay. One of the like original creators of AI, and he was talking all about this. And
okay, that's
so wild. I was like, this is So I said I'd give a shout out to Trackverse because it was like it killed a good hour and a half. I'm like, what am I missing?
So now I get it. Okay, that's cool. I understand this now. So that was Trackverse's application of the DKG.
Yes.
To create a story, which is the lore for that NFT project.
Yes, I believe so.
That makes sense. Okay. So then someone's probably listening to this being like, what does this have to do with the blockchain and all that stuff you talked about earlier on?
What do you mean?
Because it's like, what? Because someone listening could be like, this has nothing to do with the blockchain, but then now we're talking. or like NFTs, they don't know what that is, and it's like, how is this immutable on the blockchain? And I don't think we can get into all of that right now.
No,
So
I
tune in
just
next
wanted,
time.
yeah, I just wanted to show you and just kind of,
No,
you
that's
know,
really cool. In short, though, like there was one thing that translated, like we were talking about knowledge and having a verified source. So it's like, okay, if you're like, this is like verified source of information, you could take that information, like whether like a Word document or whatever, and
yeah.
mint that Word document in the blockchain, and then now it can't be erased or whatever.
Well,
Anyone can see it.
supply chain.
Yeah.
Or like any kind of company, all
Yeah.
their ins and outs and everything could be used. Like they could have their own company blockchain where nobody can falsify stuff. Everything,
exactly.
like obviously pen to paper can be falsified,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
but like
But if they
this
mint
goes
it,
out,
those official records are,
right.
yeah. And
This
that's
is where real use case.
Yeah, and I think everything we described was us minting, Bitcoin. But like to get the concept, you just replace Bitcoin with like other digital product, deed for your house. You can put that in a box and mint it in a block. I'm done. Yeah, that's really cool. Really, really cool. That's like something different. This is like Polymarket, where they would say, will X, reduce Twitter's market share. And then if you think no, then you got to put up some ETH. And if you think yes, you got to put up some ETH, and then whatever happens, you get rewarded. You remember that?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways,
we're gonna have to. DeFi is so like the hot topic right now, especially in Cardano, and I want to delve into it, but we'll see if we've got time because in
doing a little bit of research on trying to talk about it, I was just like, oh yeah, forgot how wild this technology is, and the whole planning around this is really, really something. Kind of blows my mind. It reminds me of like why we started this podcast in the first place. So thanks.
Yeah,
thanks for hanging out with us.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. I guess stay tuned for what we got coming up in the next few weeks. We got a lot of good episodes or good guests we want to have on. So thank you for listening. Please like, review, rate, all those fun things that we need, because we want to get our numbers are good and we want to get them better, and we want to get this out to everybody, and you doing that kind of stuff helps the algorithm pick us up and share us with more people and get us on charts or all that fun stuff. So if you could, please, thank you, love you, NFGs.
We out. Like and subscribe so that we don't have to go to
I'm tired, boss.
You want to make money? You want to be a big podcaster? Get out there. Okay, I'll stop.